Hello.
Hello.
How is everyone?
Fantastic.
Everyone, this is welcome to the FoFeet Deep poetry, open mic, and interview. Once I get up in this chair, we'll be all right. I'm a little short. You know what? I'm gonna stand up. I cannot get in that chair.
You know, it's like you were stepping on your dress. Pull your dress to the side and try.
Okay. I want everyone out there to know this is the FoFeet Deep open mic, and we're at Legacy Books and Cafe. We are here, and if you don't come down, you're going to miss a good time because people here are going to have a great moment. I have my host, my poet, open mic, superstar, my star poet tonight is artist, is Mr. Floyd Boykin Jr. Now, I'm up here. All right. Now, Mr. Boykin, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm good. Let me tell you, how many years has it been
Since what?
since we met?
We met back in like 98, 99, something like that. Because I came on the scene in 97.
97. I just was on the scene in 97. I started writing in 96, and within 6 months I was on the mic. So, yeah, we say 97. We've been in this game for a while, y'all. Just like I'm trying to get up in this chair. This is for real.
4 feet deep.
Okay, now I'm good. Yay! Okay. Tonight, October 24th, 2025, I wanted to bring a variety of artists that I've worked with and that I've grown up with through Soul Vibe and other places, so you can see, give you an idea of where they started, where they built into, what they advanced themselves with, and how they have become who they are and what they got coming up. Okay, Mr. Boykin, what's up with you?
No.
Would you tell the people, you tell them what your name is?
All right, so I'm known as Floyd Boykin Jr. That is my stage name as well as the government name. But when I came on the scene, I came on with the name of, what's that, Chip?
Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in hip hop first. I got into hip hop first and transitioned into poetry because I got tired of the content that was growing hip hop back then. And we were talking about like 96. So it was a lot of gangsterism going on. I'm from the hood, but I ain't that kind of gangster. I got a little gangster, but not that gangster, you know. So it ended up transitioning into poetry.
All right. And when I met him, he was a rapper poet. Okay. What is your art, your craft, your creation that started with poetry?
Actually, no. For me, I started with the flute. So playing concert flute back in 4th grade. So my family, I come from a long line of musicians and dancers and singers and stuff like that. So I started with the flute. And then actually into dancing actually was my first poetry. You know, I was doing, back then hip hop and like kid and play type of stuff and that kind of dancing, where you sweated when you actually danced and split and had partners and stuff like that. That was my poetry back then. I did that till maybe about 95. And the cats I used to dance with, they claimed they was getting a little old for what we were doing, taking your leg, jumping over. They weren't trying to do that anymore. So I transitioned from that into hip hop, and then which was, you know, some call it rap, but hip hop because I'm a lyricist, and rap and rap ain't always about the lyrics, you know, but hip hop is and the beat, you know. And so I did that for a while. It's called Impact, the Imperial Verbalizer. So
Never heard that. What does it do with impact?
yeah, it was the Imperial Verbalizer.
I got the tape.
That's right. I had that bad baby on the set. I was playing the tapes, you know, but I didn't transition into poetry until '97.
Okay, cool. You've been doing this basically since the 34th grade.
Pretty much been doing some kind of form of entertainment since
Who are your inspirations?
First off, my family. My father plays guitar and sings. My cousin Al Caldwell played bass guitar for Vanessa Williams for 25 years. My uncle Billy, he was a conga player and a flautist. You know, my mom used to sing, play piano. We got a lot of singers in our family. My cousin Tracy, Tracy Mitchell, he's a singer, guitarist, songwriter. So those were my initial, and my brother Darian, actually. My brother Darian, who's not actually an artist anymore, but he had a singing group back in the day, you know, when Morris Day and Time was doing their thing. It was all about being cool. He was with this cat named Carl, and they did everything. So I used to watch them write songs and perform and stuff like that, you know. So all of that influenced me family-wise. Now that's not even saying anything about the actual celebrity folks that influenced me. Stevie Wonder is a major part of influence. The Barge, then you got Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Those are my cats, man. And then you start transitioning into Gerald Austin, who, if you know Gerald Austin, he used to sing for the Manhattans, and that's like my favorite male vocalist. He don't get enough love, you know, so I'm giving him this flowers. And then we transition into hip hop, so you got Public Enemy, Rakim, Common, Outkast, those type of cats. Queen Latifah into like, you know, Paris, Gorilla Funk, that, you know, him, you know, so all those cats influenced me.
Okay. Now, do you have something you want to read for us?
I have something I can read.
Okay. Do you want to hear? Don't you want to hear something he has to read? Yeah.
So I was looking for something on one of them. I have 9 books. 6 of those books are poetry books, and the other 3 are like self-help books, you know. So I wanted to read this piece. I did this poem called "Shoulder to Lean On," and a friend of mine was in it. Tina Wright, she went by Just Right, recently passed away, and but she starred in the video because I do music video production work too. At least I was doing that before, you know, everybody got savvy with the phone. So this is a piece that she starred in called "Shoulder to Lean On." Do I need a mic? Do I need a mic? No, yes? No? Okay. If I need it, let me know. She needed someone to lean on, so I extended my hand to her so she could lay her head on my shoulder, and she did. She did as she cried lyrical tears of anguish as they rolled down sleeves until her thoughts dangled from my fingertips. And all I could think about was ripping her pain away, flipping the loose ends of her life follicles until she wore a fade. And I prayed that I'm there to promenade around her joy while sipping on lemonade on sunny days. And I can't explain why I have such a fondness for her. I can't explain why I pray that her past becomes a blur. Maybe it's because I want to spice up her life like curry, or maybe it's because I want to compliment her. Maybe it's because I want to compliment her neck like a real bird, but she is in love with a man that abuses her. He has scarred her ego and corrupted her personality, tearing down the physical and mental temple that God has given her, almost bringing her life to a foreclosure. And she's been waiting patiently for her 4-leaf clover. For her 4-leaf clover, Mr. Luck has given up on her and now hangs out with cosmic whores and in pornographic video stores and doesn't have time for her anymore. Now she has become dependent on the malfunction of another human being with beast-like tendencies, and all she asks is for a shoulder to cry on as she weeps rivers of acid pain and still stains the memories of those who surround her. I still remember the shades that she wore at nighttime. I still remember the swelling of her left eye as she tried to disguise the evidence of her turmoil with transparent skies. But the only one that she disguised herself from was herself. It was subliminal, but I heard her cries for help. I labeled a so-called man as a criminal because he stole the smile that used to highlight and trench the horizons of the summertime. He stole the warmth that made one look forward to the wintertime. He stole her will to live and her vision of happiness. I can't help but to think about the millions of innocent women that live this life, and despite the constant battles and spasms, they still confess their love for these spineless vigilantes that call themselves men. I won't pretend that seeing her like that didn't tear me up inside. And what hurt me more is that she pulled me aside and told me that she didn't want our worlds to collide. She told me that I wasn't responsible for her baggage, that I didn't deserve that. It's not fair to me. But what's not fair to me is not allowing me to be there for thee, so please reconsider. She looked at me with her soulful green eyes and emphasized that she will always love me for that, as her spirit massaged and caressed my lower back. Then she kissed me twice, once with the lips, and the other was from the tear that fell from my eye. And that was the last time that I saw my sunshine alive.
Woo! You know I clap because I can't snap. But if you all snap, I'll take that. All right, all right. Now, that was amazing. I remember that.
We did a music video, and that was actually my first music video that I put together. My cousin Al loaned me his video equipment so that I can record this video. And I actually filmed it, part of it here at Legacy. And I taught myself how to edit and everything because I was like just tired of waiting. I'm the type of person, I don't like waiting on people. So if it seemed like it's slowing my process down, I would learn how to do it to speed up my process. So I learned how to edit and start doing that. I actually started, doing it not for a living, but I had a couple of clients. But we did that video, man. It was real cool. If you ever get a chance to go on YouTube, just look me up, Floyd Boykin Jr. and look for a shoulder to lean on. There's a music video, and there's also the making of the music video. And both of them are pretty interesting, so please check it out.
Now, blues, hip hop, poetry, music video. I'm counting down, y'all. 4. He is a Gemini. This is my Gemini son. And with the Gemini, we have many talents. And I am so amazed because he has groomed every talent to a point where he's like, it's like waking up in the morning, okay? Now, next I want to ask you, your supporters. When you were young, as you were growing up, and even up today.
I mean, there's a lot. I have a lot of support. A lot of times people say that we don't get support from our hometown, and we have to go outside to get that support. And honestly, I can't say that. I mean, I got a lot of great St. Louis support. That comes out. I mean, I did my first art show last year, last September, and that was my first solo show. Period. Like I said, I've been doing this since '97. Last year was the first time I did a show where it was just me, and I had almost 80 people come out to support that, you know what I'm saying? So it was like that, when you reinvent yourself to a degree and you get that kind of support, you really feel good about what you're trying to do. But I would say probably 90 to 95% of my supporters are probably women. Women will show up and support, from my books to music that I made to I think every last one of them, the paintings that I've sold have been by women, except for, the first one I saw a piece for it was a $900 piece, and a woman bought it and paid $1,000 for it. I don't know if she got it or if her husband got it, because her husband was in the back saying, hey, get whatever you want, baby. So he might be the only one in terms of males that actually purchase my stuff, but most of the time it's women that support what I do, because a lot of things, I'm a strong advocate for women right and supporting my sisters out there doing whatever they're doing, whether it's the art or, businesses and stuff like that. Wherever I can support, if it ain't financially, I'm a good mouthpiece, So, I guess that would be it.
Okay, now I remember when you got your first violin, and in a little while, you was playing. What else have you embarked upon and taught yourself?
So, I started doing violin in 2017, October 13th of 2017. So, that was a childhood thing I wanted to do before the flute. I wanted to play the violin. I'm brother from the hood, north side, Claxton, over there off Union, over in that area. And the schools I went to, they didn't offer violin, So I was like, I do flute, Now in the hood though, walking around with a flute, little dude in the hood, that didn't look too tough, you know what I'm saying? So I let that influence me, unfortunately, even though most of the flautists that I saw were professional flautists were men, But I let that bother me, unfortunately. But the violin, I started playing the ukulele. I started playing the bass guitar, actually was before violin, because I was in a band called Cerebral Travelers, and I was the lead person doing poetry, right? But we didn't have a bass player. So whenever I would take a break, bam, we jamming, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a part of this. So I learned how to play the bass so I could jam with my people, So that, I also cook, I love cooking. That's a major passion of mine. My mom taught me how to do that, and then my bonus mom helped me elevate it. And then YouTube University took it from there, So, I've done a lot. The paintings that you see behind me, I only been painting for, I think, a little bit over 2.5 years now. And most of that came from online, watching videos.
Okay. Would you like to bring your paintings up so that people can see more of?
Sure. Bring it up.
Yeah.
I guess I explain what you're looking at, too, I guess. So this is a piece that I did earlier this year. It's called Snarl, paper thin. It's I don't know, it's something that I really, this is her first time out. She hadn't been out of the house. This is her first time out, so I wanted to show her out today. But I started learning about layering a little bit more, where you try to make acrylic, I use acrylic paint, but as you layer your painting, if hopefully if y'all understand what I mean by layering, going back with like skin tones, like mid-skin tones, shadows, and skin tones, and the highlights, and the mid-skin tones, and the shadows. You keep doing that, and then what happens is start looking more like an oil-based paint, And so one of my artsy friends online I love the arts community because they're not scared to share information. They're like, I can tell you anything and everything I do is not going to come out the same way. It's going to look different. So they share information, and so I learned that. So this is my girl here, like I said, first time out. Now the fellow in the back who said that kind of looked like Prince. It's not Prince, but it is a dude where he was inspired by a dude. Anybody watch Sisters out here? So it's a light-skinned dude, sister. I don't know if he's still on there, but at one point he was trying to date somebody or whatever, and he was trying to be tough, and this dude hit him, and he fell on the floor or whatever. But I don't remember the dude's name, but he kind of inspired this painting, and so when I kind of used him as a sketch, and then I like doing abstract stuff, abstract portraits, and portraits as well, and then newer graphic work. So this one right here is called Strength of the Man, and he gets a lot of views, and people really at the art shows, they really look at it. So he might be one that I end up doing prints for at some point. But right now, I really like not having prints because like if you buy this painting, for instance, you're the only one on the planet that has this painting. There's no prints. I won't have that anymore. I don't have any, copies, hanging around. You'll have the only one. I think that makes it more special, when you buy, especially if you bet, $600, $700 on the painting. You don't want that everybody got the same painting or copies of it, So right now, well, I guess you got that question might be coming up. I'll say that for when you ask.
Okay. I see you brought the flute.
Yes, ma'am. One of them.
All right, yes, he has a whole garage of stuff. Would you like to play?
Sure, I'll play with it. So this is a Native American flute. It's a Gemini flute, by the way, with the logo. I'm repping. There's a gem in I, So, but I got like 20 different flutes. And people say, man, that's a whole lot. Flutes ain't that big. They all in the corner. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't take up a lot of space. But this is a Native American flute. So what I do is I just play whatever I feel. These type of flutes. You might have seen Andre 3000 doing his thing recently, and he's been doing a lot of flute playing. And people giving him slack because they want to, hear him rhyme. But as an artist, he's a Gemini, by the way, too. And as an artist, we do whatever the hell we want to do. Just deal with it. I mean, if you want to hear him rhyme, he did that already. Like Miles Davis said, how come we don't do that kind of blues stuff no more? So I did that already. So he might get back on rhyming at some point, But the flute is definitely a great way to kind of zone out. So here we go. Down. So that's a really tricky question because anybody who, if you know me, I can tell you something right now that I'm doing, but it's probably 2 more things coming after that, But right now, the art is really the main thing I'm kind of focusing on right now. Getting a lot of great feedback with the art. So my first out-of-state painting earlier this year, and so I'm working on a small collection, actually, with smaller paintings. That's like less than $100, like $85, and it's going to be a collection. And what it's going to be, I was watching this lady. She said she did a whole bunch of small paintings that was a collection, but she sold like over 600 of them, like within a 3.5 time frame at $100 a pop. That's $60,000 for 3 years. So I said, well, let me see what I can do with my work and see what I can do. I can sell some, smaller ones, $85 a pop. Even if I sell 300 of those, that's $25,500. So I'm like, that's a pretty good, thing, because what I've learned is that a lot of people want to support, and some people can afford to buy the high-end stuff, then the other people not so much, but they want to support. I've had people donate $100. They couldn't buy anything, but they just gave me $100 because they support what I'm doing. So I figure if I create something that they can actually take with them, it don't necessarily have to be a donation. You can have something to take home. So I'm working on that because you want to hit every price point, you know, from the small paintings to the more expensive paintings. And, you know, at some point you might see some bookmarkers, you know, 99 cents, something like that, where, you know, somebody can support what I'm doing. You know? And last part of that, I'm also in talks of creating a meditation type of music product. It's going to be more of a guided meditative thing, but it's going to be a little twist because it will be music based, but it won't be real busy because you got to be able to relax and kind of clear your mind a little bit. So I'm working with a friend out of Ohio, and hopefully that'll be a project that will get out as well.
Okay, I ran out of fingers, the thing that he does. And he's gonna probably need somebody else's hand to add to the rest of it. Now, you know we gotta bring you back. Okay, this is the third installment of FoFeet Deep. And this is the interview of going in deep. Now, there's a segment called Everything is Political. Now, looking at the world and the upside down things that never happened in our lifetime, or probably anybody else's. My question, well, it's really not a question, it's a statement. What do you feel up to this day, because tomorrow could be something different. What do you feel about what's happening in the world, in our world, right now, that's affecting our block? Whatever block you live in, your relatives, your friends, what, in your opinion, would you say is that grabs your attention as an artist, as a poet, as a musician? What grabs your attention? Because you know, artists tells the world what's happening on the street. So, what would you say that got your attention, that you think you need to speak to? And I want you to know, everything is political. What would you?
Before I answer that, I just want to say thank you for having me on this platform. And I appreciate you. I appreciate that opportunity. I appreciate you all for listening to it, brother. I really appreciate that. To answer your question, if you know me, I mean, we discussed this briefly. I'm not talking that much politically, vocally that much these days. I'm kind of doing it more with my art. But in saying that, I have a problem with AI. AI is my nemesis right now in the world of creativity. Now, I don't believe that. I'm not saying that AI is not necessary, but when it comes into creating like art or music or songs, whatever, as a creative person who doesn't use anything to enhance my consciousness or my spirit to create, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do anything. I just, hey, I feel it, I do it, you know. I have a problem with AI because I see a lot of people who are not talented. I've seen people who are talented who use it, you know, because they know AI is something that we need to learn how to use, you know, for certain things. It could be like, I think Erykah Badu on her new album cover that she got coming out, she used AI to create the cover, you know, not the music, but the cover. And so there's so many creative artists. I think AI is really killing that vibe on those people who are very creative in writing and creating music and videos and all this stuff. And as I think it's already gotten out of hand. I saw Malcolm X and Martin Luther King in the ring, in the wrestling ring on TV today. So you know what I'm saying? That's gone too far, in my opinion. You know, if you utilize it to enhance something cool, but I fear that creativity is going to really suffer because of AI, because you're going to have people creating music and it's not actually a person. You know, they only got me once. It was this lady singing, and the song was dope. And I was looking down, and her name was, what was it? No, Lyric AI, I think her name was. And I was like, I almost bought it, you know, because I thought I didn't know it was AI. But now I gotta research and check everything before I buy it. Because I'm not a streamer. I don't stream from platforms like Apple Music and Spotify. And, you know, I'll go to YouTube, listen to something, if I like it, and I buy it from iTunes. Because I mean, I can afford 99 cents on a song now. Like I can afford $10 an album, and they get more money off of that. You know what I'm saying? Because if I buy if I buy one of your songs on iTunes for 99 cents, you're probably gonna get 60 to 70 cents of that money. But on Spotify or on Apple Music, you gotta have like 150 to 200 streams, not to even get a penny. It's like a portion of a penny. So I don't support that. You know, I don't support that either. So I have a problem with these platforms that really hindering the artists in creating and also making money.
Now, like I said, everything is political. For me, AI is something that I'm not comfortable with, but because I don't like, I'm a Gemini and I'm a control person. I like to control what's around me as much as I can. But if I don't know anything, it'll be taking over me. As an artist, I felt that I've seen people that just dictate what they want to AI, and AI put it in a it makes it sound real nice, and they use it in the genre of the person that they've been talking with, because it really gets to know the person. So even talks like the person would speak, but I don't want nothing speaking for me. And see, that's where you don't talk political, I do. That's what we as people from Africa, everybody is really African if you got melanin, because that's the only place you're getting it from, okay? For Africans, people been speaking for us since they stole our relatives in 1600. So, I don't want a machine speaking for me either.
Well, that's what I was saying too.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not sitting here, like for instance, I'm not in political debates. You're not going to see me in political debates.
Right.
But you can listen to some of my songs that I've done, and you pretty much know my standpoint, my point of view. You know, I don't have to get on the panel to talk because I'm putting my music down. And I'm saying what I'm saying uninterrupted. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to convince you. This is what I feel. The bottom line, even a regular conversation, if I'm talking to someone and they're having, there was a conversation that I was having with someone, they got mad at me because we were talking about the happy life. Yeah. That conversation was a debate, and you know, so I posted something because I don't like that phrase, you know, because it's one-sided. So to me, happy wife, happy life says the hell with the husband. That's what I hear with that. I don't hear anything about the husband at all. So I like happy spouse, happy house, you know, because that's inclusive of both of you being happy. You make each other happy. So somebody got mad at me because they felt like I didn't understand why the whole slogan came about, how they used to, you know, oppress the woman and things like that. I said, I get what you're saying, but it has nothing to do with my point. And, you know, so she kept going back with me. And ultimately, this is me being done with it. I'm like, you know, we agree to disagree. That's it. I'm not trying to convince you. I don't care. Actually, I just want to say my piece, but I don't care if you agree with it. I'm 54 years old. At this point in my life, I really don't care if you follow what I'm saying. You know, I give you one time to explain it. If you don't get it, I'll reword it. That third time, like, hey, you ain't got to understand everything I say. I'm done with it. You know, anything that's gonna cause my blood pressure to rise at this point, I don't like to deal with it. You know, so I'm very much at this point, even though we have to have our voice, and I 100% agree with that. But I'm learning how to live in my personal silence, you know, for clarity and peace and things like that. So that's my internal thing, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much anti-peace going on in the world. I need that peace. I need that solitude. So I make sure that I do that, you know. But we have some major warriors out there doing the speaking, you know what I'm saying? So my whole thing, I can support, you know, those things. If I'm agreeing with them, I would support them 100%. You know, you know, I've been talking for a while, you know, for years. You know what I'm saying? I'm not done talking, and expression is not always verbal.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's photographic. It's musical. It's movies. Whatever you have, your creative expression is what you're saying. Right.
And what you don't support.
Right.
That's also speaking when you don't support something.
Exactly.
So, you know, so yeah, so.
You don't have to give away yourself to express yourself.
100%.
Right. Now, I'm going to say this is my commercial time. First of all, we've got Uhuru Bakery Cafe on the other side of the window doing samples of pies. You can taste it, you can buy a slice, you can get a small one, or you can get a big one. Or you can order one. That's it, right? Over through there, okay? Now, not yet. Don't think yet. If you see there's a piece of paper on your table, this mobilization to DC, the Black is Back Coalition for Justice, Peace, and Reparation will be marching on Washington, D.C. every first weekend in November. This is the 17th time. And we have a van. If you're interested in going, we got a van, and we can get you a seat. You can talk to myself or the young man in the other room named Gregory, give you more information. We'll be leaving the 31st, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll return on early Monday morning about 2 o'clock. But I'm going to tell you, in between, we'll be making history. We will be making history. Get more information on it. You can be a part of it. Gregory can tell you more about it. All right? And I have this. I told you last month my book was coming out, right? Woo! Guess what? This is it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would have it in time. They said it wouldn't be here because it takes like 3 weeks to print them up. They said it wouldn't be here until in Halloween, but I got it last Wednesday. So these are, it's called FoFeet Fables, Uplifted from the Fifth. And I'm gonna tell you why this is a book of poetry, but it is a workbook. The reason is this lady told me, she said, you know, I love poetry, but I don't understand it. So I said, well, this is what I'll do. The fable portion reminded me of Aesop fables. It was common sense words and understanding to people's lives. The book was written when I was a part of the Fifth Spiritualist Church here in St. Louis for about 10 years. We would have festivals where people would come in, sit at the table, and they would expect a message. Well, as a poet, one time mine started coming to me as poetry. So I would sit with them and talk to me for a minute, and I said, can you come back in 5 minutes? I would take what it has nothing to do with what they were telling me, but I heard their poetry, because 4 feet is how I hear poetry, with 2 feet on earth and 2 feet in spirit. And when I get to the mic, that's when it's I wrote these people poetry, and I gave it to them, and I had them to sign a release because I didn't know then what I was going to do with it. So they signed the release, and I put it in the book. And I also got to speak to some of my friends because I said, well, this is only about 28 poems. So I spoke to some of my friends, and I wrote some of their things that we talked about, and Spirit gave me, because that's what I hear, their stories. But the fable is so other people can read where the poem came from, what inspired the poem, and what you're supposed to know about that piece. Now, you know everybody's got an opinion, right? Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't want to hear your opinion. But this book gives you the right and to write down your opinion. Because behind every fable, you can write your opinion. You can write your thoughts. This is your workbook. And it's yours because you bought it. And when you put your thoughts in there, they're yours. Okay? This book can be used in a group setting. 4 or 5 people get a piece, poem, and they listen to it and they give their thoughts. These pages are not in here for you to write poetry. They're not in here for you to talk about people. But if you want to, you can because it's your book. But it's not teaching anything but human nature. Because everybody that is in this book, some of them are with us still and some are not, their character is human nature. And this is just a little human nature way to look at it. The hardback is $25. Tonight, anybody that buys the book, get it for $20. That's the special for tonight. Now, next time, it may be $26. But that's tonight. You can get this book at FoFeet.net. That's FOFEET.net.
Website.
Huh?
You using a website, y'all? It ain't social media, it's dope. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or you can go to Amazon. You can even go through my website and get to Amazon. But either way it goes, you can get this book in hardback, paperback, or ebook. And in about 3 to 4 weeks, if you just like to listen to audiobooks, it'll be on audiobooks too. All right?
Awesome.
So, and I don't have AI doing audiobooks.
You don't need it.
Comrade Makeda
Okay.
will be doing the audiobook.
Great voice.
So I wanted people with a voice and a pulse, so you can really sound like somebody is talking to you. But anyway, this is FoFeet Fables, uplifted from the pit.
Congratulations.
The style of this book, I have never seen it anywhere. It's a poem, it's a fable, and it's based right. Now my next book, I haven't named it yet, but it will be a collection of political poetry that I've written over the last 11 years. And the fable will be what's been going on since Mike Brown got murdered. Because that's when I started becoming, I realized I was already political, didn't know it. I used to ask you guys in the soul vibe, why y'all so political? Guess what? It rubbed off on me and I didn't even know it. So now, what you'll be seeing in the next rendition of FoFeet Fables, book 2 will be political. It might be everything is political. I don't know what the name is yet, but this weekend I started pulling it together and getting it ready to be published by February. And in April, I will be at the LA Book Festival. I'll be out there. I already, hopefully I have 2 books instead of 1. So, anyway, Gemini, we just don't stop.
We don't.
Stop.
You know, you either love Geminis or you don't. You know, there's not a lot of, if you're into you know, the signs, there's not really a lot of gray area. You know, I know some people who have gotten the zodiac sign of the Gemini tattooed on them, and they're not Geminis. they just love Geminis. You know what I'm saying? They just love, they're around a lot of Gemini folks. And then I have some other people. I remember, I think it was like maybe 3 years ago. I was talking to somebody, man, we were having a good conversation. I was in the dating world at that time. And we were having a good conversation. And then she said, well, when is your birthday? And I said, it's June 17th. She said, oh, you're a Cancer. I said, no, I'm Gemini. She said, oh, hell no. I mean, her whole mode was changed. She said, I never think that Gemini days you trying to ruin my life. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just say hi. I mean, you know, but it got a bad rap because of Gemini. But my whole thing is, you know, we are people, individual people, and even though I'm a proud Gemini, Gemini does not rule, you know, who I am. I just am, you know, and so I embrace that. It just happened to be a lot of the traits of the Gemini, you know. So I love it, and I got a big Gemini tribe. You know, it's like I said, I'm a June 17th Gemini, and I know a lot of June 17thers.
Okay, well, I'm a June 1st.
That's all right.
I'm a
June, baby.
birthday.
You June, baby.
That's right. So, right now, I'm going to do a piece. And you want to know? Okay, I'm going to do a piece. And we are still live. This is called The Book Said. Okay, I haven't done this in a while, so. Okay, the book said it's a sin to just think of touching you. Feeling you feels me in my dream. I think that's kind of mean, the things I've been alone, things I've seen alone. Makes me warm, means no harm. Behind my eyes is you I see. Closely holding my thighs. Maybe I better not do this. Yeah, I was sorry. A time or 2, I call you my boo. In agreement, you dip into the sea. I think I'm gonna save that one. Till we get off the internet, okay? This is one of my.
I feel like Rick.
This is one of my more sensual, really, really sensual pieces, so I'm not gonna do that one.
All right. I'm gonna do a very, very, very old piece, and most of y'all probably hadn't heard this with new y'all, so that's how I always look at that. And I always say that nobody ever questioned like R&B group that's still singing stuff from the 90s and they tour and nobody, you know, they want to hear those songs. But a lot of people like with poets, we gotta have brand new homes every time. You know, life, and you know, can't do that. But the piece is called Metamorphosis of Cerebral Penicillin, but it's known by intoxicated. Lately, I've been feeling a little bit intoxicated because I sucked up verbal helium in record time to make my voice high. I snort powder books to elevate my mind, and consciousness is what I shoot up to loosen that mental noose up. I used to think I had to hook up to God and didn't look up, closed the book up and got shook up. My mind was televised across the nation on Hill Street Blues and in Dallas. Fingers had calluses from remote controls, from joysticks, from Atari and Activision. Yes, activism, because activism acted as my vision until me and wisdom had a head-on collision. I saw Toby raise a body and leave for my mental prison, and then he ran his black ass down the street. He didn't wait around and listen to my heartbeat, beating like an 808 kick drum, a revolutionary rim shot. Boom, clap, boom, clap, boom, clap. Hard tied by bass strings played by Marcus Miller while being serenaded by Rachel Farrell and Layla Hathaway. It became very clear to me that there has to be another way of thinking. Now I'm drinking Words of Wisdom by Saul Williams and Jessica Care Moore. Bring on the encore, but next time include Miss Shirley LaFleur. You You see, I get motivated by my people doing it up St. Louis style. Buck wild and mile is all the same to me as long as it's done with wisdom. I rebel like Shirley Chisholm, running for presidency. My residency is that of an urban descent, paying rent in soul plantation apartments which can be a complex or cause a complex, depending on the complex that you live in. I believe in self-motivation. I believe in self-emancipation. But most of my people are on some type of consciousness hiatus. I'll take 7 NCs and freeze them with my divine verbal metamorphosis, curing them with cerebral penicillin, resurrecting them with my lyricism, with my pen as my mechanism. But don't mind me, y'all, because I suck at verbal healing in a record time to make my voice high. I snort part of books to elevate my mind, and consciousness is what I shoot up to loosen that Mr. Newsom.
All right. We are about to bring this to a close, and I did promise some people a piece, so I'm gonna just do something on my head. I sit here rocking, knowing that every rock reminds me of my grandmother and her common sense, and how she didn't say anything, but you knew what she was thinking. This lady could go into the grocery store with $50 and get everything she wanted and have $1 left. She fed 8 children, 2 grandchildren, 3 grandchildren, and whoever came over that was hungry. That was my grandmother. One day, I had a grandson, and he called me grandma. And I said, wait a minute. I can't be like grandma. Because grandma was a special person. She stood up this high when she was really a little taller than me. But what she said was golden, and it was peace. Nobody had anything else to say about it because they knew they would get a piece of something. Grandma, we call her mama. She ran the house. She ran the children. She raised her children and everybody else's that came to the house. Nobody went hungry. Special woman. And when my grandson called me grandma, I feel special. And I had to live up to the grandma that I want to be, that stepped into the shoes of the grandma that I had. And with that was Pinky Huberta Warren. Grandma, my mom, my grandma, mom. Okay, that's my Pinky. And when we close this and open the open mic, I'll do the other piece. Okay. I want to thank you, Mr. Boykin.
Thank you.
Impact.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's from, what's the group name?
Soul.
If you want to know anything about Soul Vibe, you won't find it now. But we will resurrect the group at one point, again, years later. But we were the hottest poetry collectives in the Midwest, the East, and the West, and the North, and the South. As we traveled around. And we started Spoken Word Expo. 2 of them. All right? 3 of them, sorry. 3 of them. And all of the poets are amazing. Like Floyd Boykin Jr., Ron Chill Williams, Idara, Ill Skill, Umana, Starlight. But that's what we'll stop, because next month, my spotlight poet is the one and only Ill Skills Umana. Just like this guy got like 2 hands of creativity going on, she has a boatload too, okay? And with that being said, I am FoFeet, Ushairi, El-Kibulon. FoFeet is how I hear poetry, with 2 feet on earth and 2 feet in spirit. Ushairi a poet and poetry. That's my middle name. And Alkevion is indigenous for Africa.